Right. Peace and wellness, family. I hope that y'all are well and happy and whole and all that good stuff. Happy New Year's Eve to everyone who is honoring the holiday, honoring the New Year holiday. Today is December 31st, 2023. One, two, three. One, two, three. I don't know what is it in me that wants to say one, two, three, three, two, one. I don't know what makes me want to keep saying that. I'm like one, two, three, three, two, one. It's a one, two, three, one, two, three. Okay, which is a beautiful, beautiful divine number. We won't have this occurrence again until I believe it's 100 years from now. We'll have this experience again of having the numerology fall that way on New Year's Eve. Okay, so we'll talk about the divine numerology. We'll talk about the numerology for 2024, but also we'll talk about some New Year's Eve rituals that we can get into. So the intention of this video is to essentially talk about New Year's Eve and the new year, right? Y'all know me. I like to spend some time on New Year's Eve reflecting, being in heavy reflection, and really for the whole month of December, being in heavy reflection, right? I really love to you know, just kind of rest and assess like how has my year been? Am I happy? That's like one of my favorite questions to ask myself. Like, are you happy? Like, girl, how are you feeling? What's going on? So I want to have that open dialogue with y'all. And then of course, like I said, we'll get into some New Year's Eve rituals. First, let me just say this new year, which as marked January 1st, 2024, is according to the Gregorian calendar, right? And we have to acknowledge that because for a lot of people, they will say, I only celebrate New Year starting in spring equinox, right? Because we talk about there's multiple New Years. So we have the Lunar New Year, which I believe falls on my birthday, February 10th of 2024 is the Lunar New Year. So we have that new year. We have the astrological new year, which falls around the spring equinox. The first sign of the zodiac, I believe, is Aries. So we have the astrological new year. And then also another new year. Y'all know I like to acknowledge my birthday as a new year. A lot of people ask me, "What's your birthday rituals? What's your birthday rituals?" And for me, a lot of my birthday rituals is very similar to what I do to start a new year because that's my personal new year. So I honor, for me, I honor multiple New Years. I honor the Gregorian New Year in a very hoodoo-y way. Shout out to the ancestors. I honor the spring equinox new year because that's a very new thing. Listen, I'm gonna be real. I'm not one of those like pretend folks that's gonna act like my people been honoring the spring equinox as the new year my whole life. No, we was ball drop. Gregorian calendar is the new year people. So in honor of my ancestors in very hoodoo tradition, I honor this new year still, and I will continue to honor this new year and do some of the things that they used to do in honor of them. And then also, like I said, I acknowledge the spring equinox as a new year as well as my birthday as a new year. And then also the lunar new year, I celebrate that as well. Okay, which again, this year falls on my birthday. So I'm very excited about that divine alignment. All right. But y'all, I wanted to acknowledge that and get that out the way because anytime we talk about the new year, it's always somebody in the comments that's like, the new year is not until the spring equinox. Don't do anything. And I'm like, for you. for, for you. Okay, for you. And that's a very egoic, in my opinion. It's very centered in ego. People feel the need to push their personal beliefs and their personal practices onto others, and they doubt what other people do because that may not be what they do. If you don't want to do anything for this new year, the Gregorian New Year, if you don't want to acknowledge it or honor it, that is your personal business. You have that personal choice. For those of us who choose to continue it in honor of our ancestors, leave us alone. Leave us alone. You can come back to this video during the spring equinox, okay? Leave us alone. Leave us be. Let us enjoy. Okay? Let us have a good time. All right? Watch a little ball drop or something. Okay? Now, for those of us who are honoring this new year, for me, I like to spend today, like I said, the whole month of December really in deep, heavy reflection on like how has this year been for me, right? I don't focus too much on visioning until the actual new year. I like to like, again, just spend a lot of time in gratitude, recapping my year. What do I want to release and not bring with me into the next year? And then what do I choose to kind of hold on to, right? And I guess the reason why I love, honoring multiple New Years is because I'm always for new beginnings, right? Y'all know I honor the new moon, a new beginning. The new year is a new beginning. So anytime I start a new beginning, I like to ask myself, what do you want to release? What do you want to leave behind? And the only way we can assess what we want to release and what we're grateful for is by reflecting, honestly reflecting. And for me, the way I like to reflect is I like to go through old photos, like really scroll back through my phone and like see like, okay, what happened this month, what happened in January, what happened in February, and I check back in with my theme of the year. So every month, excuse me, every year I do a theme of the year. If you follow me, y'all know I do these videos every year. And last year when I did this video, I said my theme was going for 2023 was going to be do it now. Do it now. And I have a whole video called Do It Now and everything. And I talked about that. Salam, please. Please, y'all, let me tell y'all a side note update. Salam is going to get fixed. He has his appointment officially next week. He's going to get his little whoops chopped. Okay. I'm a little nervous for him, but he'll be well. Salam, come on, be sweet. Thank you. Thank you. But yeah, so my theme for this year for 2023 was do it now, right? And with the theme of do it now, the whole concept was just like, don't self-doubt, just do it now. Like whatever it is that you desire to do it now. That was the whole thing. And y'all, this year, as I reflect, y'all hold on, let me get Salam so he don't disturb us the whole time. Please, 1 second. Okay, y'all, I'm back. I'm back. I had to put a little lipstick on too for a little razzle dazzle, honey. Okay, I had to get myself together. Okay, when I'm back. So, as I was saying, my year of 2023 was centered around do it now. And as I reflect, y'all, I talked to the wellness community about this last week. We had did a family meeting and we just talked about, our 2023 and practices that we implemented during 2023 that helped us elevate. And I explained how the do it now theme for me really shifted me in a very positive way. So what the practice look like? Do it now. If there was anything that I desired to do for myself, I would do it without question, without self-doubt, without any excuses. I would do it. If I was able and capable, it would get done no matter what it is. And I'm talking about from big things to small things. And I started it at the very beginning. The first thing I did January 2023 was I bought a Peloton. And I had been contemplating for years about whether or not I wanted to get a Peloton. It was always something I wanted to do. I was like, should I do it? Should I do it? Excuse me. I got a Peloton, y'all. And that was one of the biggest blessings for me. Like it really shifted my relationship with working out. It shifted my relationship with health. It really like it just shifted me in a very positive way, right? I'm very good with like eating well, but for me, y'all, I'm just not a gym girly. I'm not a gym girly. I don't like to sweat. I don't like to work out, or I didn't, I should say. But getting my Peloton has really made me fall in love with being in the gym. And like I actually, I got a Peloton, but the funny thing is the Peloton helped me transition to being comfortable in the gym, right? And going to the gym. So I've been going to the gym more because of that. Another thing I did in February of 2023 was I got my breast reduction, right? Like I had made a decision that I wanted to get a breast reduction. It's something I've been contemplating literally since I was a teenager. I've been contemplating getting a breast reduction. I developed very young. I got my menstrual by the time I was 10 years old. I've developed very young. And I've always had very large breasts, always. And I always thought about getting a breast reduction, was hesitant, wasn't sure, spent years of my life contemplating. Now I'm in my 30s, and that was one of the things. Like, I was like, you know what? I'm just going to do it. I'm going to do it now. No hesitation. I'm going to do it now. And I did it. I did it. I did it. I just like literally decided, I made the decision in the middle of the night, started researching different surgeons and the best surgeons in my area, made an appointment, and within 2 weeks, I was on the table. Decided in February, and I want to say by the end of February, maybe the beginning of March, I had got the breast reduction, right? I want to say the end of February. I don't know. Summertime around that time, though, but within a 2 week time, I had got my breast reduction. And that for me has been this year, best decision ever. My best decision of 2023 has been my breast reduction. If you are contemplating it, honey, do it. Okay, do it now. Okay. And there has just been many different things. I literally could go month to month to month and talk about making the decision to go to the Jill Scott concert, right? Going to see Badu, going to my first opera, like big things like breast reduction and having that surgery, right? Or buying something expensive like a Peloton treadmill is quite expensive, but making an expensive purchase to small things like going to my first opera, going to a concert. These are things that I used to like, I don't know, y'all. I had such a, and this is how it has helped me, right? I had such a scarcity mindset. And I used to feel like I have, like, you got to save, you got to save, you got to save. When you grow up not having much, you have this idea of like, when you do have something, you got to hold on to it just in case it goes away, just in case you don't, something happens, right? So you got to hold on, hold on, hold on. So, and you don't, I got much better with it throughout the years, but so I thought I was pretty okay. But it wasn't until I did my year of Do It Now that I realized how much it was still affecting me and how the decisions I would make was all based on, do you think you could do it? Do you think it's worth it? I would judge worthiness not based on affordability, because thank God, I'm blessed. I could afford it. So it wasn't about not being able to afford it. It was about, is this worth it? Right? I would judge worthiness based on the fact that although I can afford it, what if something happens and then, yes, you afforded it now, but you could save this just in case. Like that whole gymnastics of worthiness I used to do in my mind, it really forced me to kind of face that and address that aspect of my scarcity mindset, the fear that the other shoe was going to drop. That's what it is, right? The fear that the other shoe is going to drop, the fear that something else is going to happen. Like that's it. It's a fear. It's a fear. And when you handle finances from a fear-based space, you will always be in fear of loss and you will attract loss, right? When you handle your finances from a fear of scarcity, they will be scarce because you attract that energy. So having this do it now mentality really kind of shifted me out of that mindset. So for my 2023, that is what I am grateful for. I'm grateful for not just the things, the physical things that I attained and the things that I was able to do because of Do It Now. I'm grateful for the mindset shift that it led me to, because Do It Now hasn't just affected me when it comes to purchasing things and going places and activities, it's also affected like my production in life, right? Like, okay, you got the urge to do this video now, or you want to meet with the community now, or you want to have a watch party for this now, do it now because tomorrow is not promised. Like, you have the energy now, you have the thought now, do it now. Don't delay things, don't put things off. So it has really helped me address my procrastination, right? So it has elevated me in that way. 2023, the do it now theme has just been one that, I would heavily advise, if you struggle with scarcity mindset, if anything I'm saying to you sounds or feels familiar as far as like that other shoe is going to drop, something is going to happen, practice a year of do it now. And again, it doesn't have to be big things, even the little things. You want to buy the shirt, buy the shirt. You want to write the book, write the book. You want to send whatever, send it. Like, whatever you want to do. You want to go to the place, go to the place. Like, even if you have to go alone, you want to dress up today and you don't have nowhere to go, just dress up and go to the damn grocery store. Like, whatever you want to do, whatever your spirit is calling you to do it now. And don't just do the practice, but really assess the mindset of why are you even hesitant to do it in the first place. Okay. So consider all of that. Now, reflecting again. So that's what I'm grateful for. Reflecting again. What do I want to release from 2023? Okay, or for 2023. What do I want to release? What do I not want to carry with me to 2024? And this requires a lot of vulnerability. Okay, so I'm just being very transparent, y'all. For me, 2024, what I want to release, remove, let go of is self doubt. Self doubt. I've come to realize, that I've always had a journey with self-esteem, right? And like acknowledging and knowing that I'm that girl, the queen, honey, in all areas of life, right? I've always had like self-esteem has been a journey of growth for me. It's been a journey of like practice, right? From the time that I was aware and conscious, I have had to practice self-esteem. I've had to practice confidence and pouring into myself and teaching myself about self-love and beauty. And I realize, like, as I get older, like, I'm very strong and confident in certain areas, but there are still other areas where I self-doubt. So if you didn't come from a background where you were told that you were great at all things and you are amazing at everything and you look your best always and every aspect of you is beautiful. If you didn't come from that, it takes a long time to like really assess every area of life and how your esteem and confidence is affected in every area of life because it can be different. Like, I'm a person where I can be very confident here, right, on YouTube and doing a video and talking to y'all. I can be very confident with friends. I can be very confident in certain rooms. When it's time to teach in a classroom, you could put me in front of a classroom of students and I'm gonna do my thing. I'm very confident in my ability to be able to teach and do what I do, right? But there are still other areas where I lack confidence. There are still other areas where I'm working on. So something I want to release, fully release in 2024 is self doubt in certain areas of my life, right? Like when I look and I question my worthiness or my ability to properly show up in certain areas of life, right? It's there are very like there are areas that are very understandable, that it's like, okay, well, you should ask yourself some of these questions. I'm gonna just tell y'all, okay, one of the areas for me, and I talked about this with the wellness community before, some of my friends and family, we have talked about this as well. An area for me, y'all, that I'm like, okay, we got to put the final touches of confidence on this, is showing up as a mother, right? Showing up as a mother. And I know a lot of the moms is going to be like, you never feel it. You always going to doubt. You always going to doubt. I know that, right? Like I know that. But having the confidence to birth a child, knowing that that child's confidence, esteem, wisdom, knowledge, all of that is dependent upon what I instill in them. And I am a major factor in that, right? Because I'm not a person that wants to blame the environment and blame TV and all of that stuff in media. As your mother, especially if I have a little girl, you know, your confidence in who you are is largely dependent upon what I instill in you. And I know for sure that I can do it, and I feel like I'll do well at it, but I still feel concerned and hesitant. So just me working this year through all of that, right? Through that concern and that hesitation and those questions of like, can I really do this? Can I really do motherhood? Can I really do that thing? Like that's a big deal. Like, can I do I really have it? Am I in a space where I'm ready to like be a little less selfish? because because it was I was very conscious about moving into my selfish era. And I know that choosing to become a mom, I would have to kind of move out of my selfish era a bit. Okay. So am I ready to release that, and all of that stuff, right? So uh to do that, I'm releasing self-doubt. That's something I'm leaving in 2023. But I truly believe that when you do a release, you have to practice it. So my plan to practice it is I'm going to back to therapy specifically for motherhood, in preparation for motherhood, right? That's what I'm going to therapy for, in preparation of motherhood. And I know that this is a very like privileged perspective, you know what I'm saying? The fact that I can go to therapy for just for that alone. But I want to be prepared. So that's how I'm going to practice, like stepping into my confidence as a mother, stepping into my awareness as a mother, right? Is going to therapy to help me bring some awareness to areas that I may need to still work on, or areas that I'm actually doing well in, and help build my confidence as a mother. Okay, so that's where I am for 2023. And I just advise for you, and there will be some other things I'm releasing that I'm choosing to keep private. Okay, because it's probably somebody watching. It's just like you can. Okay, can y'all hear me now? Is this better? Let me know if y'all can hear me. I'm moving around. Y'all got it? Yes. Okay, perfect, perfect. It's because I was moving around, so I unplugged the mic accidentally, and the whole thing happened. But yes, and somebody said, "Spirit said stop talking about that." I am. I'm gonna keep some things private, okay? But for your release, whatever you choose to release, I advise that you reflect on it in that way, right? Reflect on it not just in a way of like identifying what you want to release, but how will you practice moving forward in building who you want to become or how you want to be. Because, see, we could let things go, right? But we also need to be able to replace that with something centered in wellness, right? So, for example, somebody may want to release procrastination. Okay, so release the energy of procrastination, release that practice, that behavior of procrastination. But what wellness centered practice will you replace that procrastination with? And how are you going to work toward being centered in wellness in that area? What does it look like for you to be well and to be confident and to be a doer? If procrastination is what you want to release, how are you going to become a doer? What practices would that look like? Or how does that practice look like? And what are you going to do to work toward that? So that's what it's really about, right? So again, for me, I'm releasing self-doubt and confidence in the area of motherhood, and to work toward building confidence in that area, I'm going to go to therapy. for motherhood specifically. Okay. I'm going to therapy specifically for that. And the crazy thing is, I am a doula, a practicing doula at that. And for me, one of my biggest things with postpartum moms is helping them realize that, like, you got this, you got this, you got this. So I do know that it's not abnormal to doubt that, but also there's work that could be done to build the confidence in that area. You know what I'm saying? And I just want to do the work. I want to do the work. I want to be able to look at my children and tell them not only were they wanted, they were planned for, they were deeply desired, and I did the work to show up as the best version of myself for them. That is my goal as a mother. My goal as a mother is to let my children know I wanted you, I desired for you, I planned for you, and I did all the work that I could do as far as I was aware of up until that moment and beyond to show up as my best version of a mother that I could possibly be for you. Okay, so that's the goal for me. So, yes, that's my 2023 reflection. Gratitude centered in my year of Do It Now, releasing self doubt, and all of that stuff. Now, New Year's Eve rituals, right? Let's just get right into that. All right. New Year's Eve rituals to prepare for the new year. For me, y'all know, again, the Gregorian calendar and honoring the new year is all about ancestral things. So this is going to come from a very hoodoo perspective, very free-flowing spiritualist perspective, but again, centered a lot in hoodoo because as my mother's side is African American, my father's side is from Panama. There were rituals. There's New Year's Eve rituals on both sides, but heavily centered from my mother's side, the African American side. That's that hoodoo side, and it being centered in just like doing things that Black folk do. Y'all know how we do for New Year's, okay? y'all know how we give it up. Okay, so let's run through some things that we do. Cleansing the home and setting the home. Coming into the new year, when that clock strikes 12 with a clean home is so important. And really, it's just about the representation of that releasing, getting rid of old things, getting rid of anything that you do not want to carry into the new year with you. So, doing a good floor wash for your home. You could do some ammonia or some white vinegar. Don't mix the two. Do some ammonia or some white vinegar. You have some boiling hot water. You can add some rosemary. You can add whatever you have, some white sage, some bay leaf, anything centered in dispelling, some sea salt. You could put some lavender in there as well. You could put some pine in there for abundance. You could add some cinnamon for abundance, but you really want to do a good floor wash. Some hyssop would be good for purification and protection. You really want to do a floor wash that's all in centered in releasing. So cleansing your floors, wiping down your window sills, the thresholds of your door, just cleansing down the home. That's something that, I started doing a couple of days ago. And the last step I have to do is I cleanse my home. The last step I have to do is just clean out my bathtub. So my bathtub is marinating right now while I'm talking to y'all. Okay. That's why when I first came on here, I was looking undone, honey. Okay. Because I've been cleaning. I had to do laundry this morning. Laundry for me is a task because I live in a walk-up building. We don't have washing dryers in the building. So I'm going back and forth from the laundry mat to my house, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. But laundry is already done. The last step for me is to clean out the tub. Okay, and then we're done. Now, the reason that we clean on New Year's Eve is because it is believed that New Year's Day, you just want to rest on New Year's Day. You don't want to clean anything on New Year's Day because it is believed, they used to say, you're sweeping out your blessings. You're sweeping out your blessings. If you clean on New Year's Day, you're sweeping your blessings out the door. Okay, so you can't clean because, back in the South, in the country, most of the time when you sweep your home, you sweep the dirt out the door. So the idea was like, if you clean on New Year's Day, you're sweeping all your blessings out. So don't sweep your blessings out. Okay. So we would not clean on New Year's Day. No laundry could be done. No dishes could be washed. None of that on New Year's Day. No cleaning. If there's any cleaning left to be done, you got to wait until January 2nd. Okay. I'm talking about, again, not even a dish washed. Okay, you'll wait until January 2nd to get it done. So that's the whole cleaning thing. Purification, releasing anything that you don't want to bring. You set your home. And when I say set your home, y'all know me. Some of y'all may be new here, so you may not know me, okay? But when I'm talking about setting your home, I'm talking about putting your salt in your corners for protection, lining the sea salt at your threshold. You get some cascarilla. If you don't have cascarilla, you can cascarilla or effun is just ground down eggshells. So you can get some eggshells, you grind them down, you clean them, and then grind them down very fine and sprinkle those in the corner as well as line the thresholds of your home with the cascarilla. That is also for protection. If you have access to brick dust, if you can get some brick dust, go somewhere with some fresh brick and scrape a brick and get some brick dust. I want you to line your thresholds and put some in the corner of your home if possible. Okay, some coins for the ancestors, coins for abundance. Put some coins in the four corners of your home. And when I say the four corners, it's not about every four corners of every room. You can do that if you want to, but literally the four corners of your home. Okay, so put that in the four corners. If you want to, even if you have a house, even outside your house, you can do eggshells. You can do the brick dust. You can do the sea salt all around the home as well. And again, all of that is for protection, to protect you from anything. They say protect you from the haints. Okay, protect you from any energy living in a person or spiritual who that's just not for your wellness, right? Any energy that's trying to work against you. So when we talk about setting the home, that's what we're talking about. Now, setting the home for abundance, you could put some pine needles or pine cones at your front door. Okay, so some pine needles under your doormat if you have one, or just at the front door when you walk in the door, that would be good. Cinnamon is also good. Orange peels are also good. You can even do you like a boil on the stove, or in a smoke bowl. Let me tell y'all. I'll put the links in the wellness community on Amazon. I had bought some. They had powdered orange peels, or powdered orange peel and powdered lemon peel. Buy that, okay, and use that. Or you can get an orange or get a lemon. Lemon would be for love energy, the orange would be for abundance energy. And you can grind down the orange peel yourself, dry it out, grind it down, or again, you could boil it on the stove. On the stove, you can do water, orange peels, you can do a star anise. A star anise is also for abundance as well as protection. You can have fresh cinnamon sticks. You can add some pine to that. That'll be good. If you don't have like fresh pine, use a little bit of the original pine sol. The original pine sol has pine in it, or pine oil. I also advise that you add some fresh clove. Clove is good for boundaries, and you can put clove in the pot or put clove at your door as well. Clove is for boundaries, setting boundaries, as well as stopping gossip. So anybody coming in your home, being able to gossip, talking about other people. Now you got to be careful, because if you a gossiper, you're gonna get put out your own damn house. Okay, so you got to be careful. Okay. Some of y'all need to chew the clothes, okay, with your gossiping asses. Okay, you need to chew the clove. The clove is for you. Okay, the call is coming from inside the house, honey. Okay, so just be mindful of that. Okay, but as I was saying, okay, you can add the clove if you want to. Again, put it at your threshold or add that to the pot. All of these ingredients you can also add to a smoke bowl. Like for me, if I'm doing a smoke bowl, I would do some lavender for relaxation and peace. I would add some sea salt for purification and protection. I would also add some bay leaf for purification and protection. I would add a little bit of dragon's blood as well. Dragon's blood is for protection as well as abundance. I would also for me, I would add some sandalwood. Probably the sandalwood is also for prosperity. Cinnamon for prosperity. I would do the allspice for prosperity in business if I'm doing a smoke bowl. So these things can be in a smoke bowl, or they can be done on a stove, and you can do a wash. If you want to, if you're in the mood to, you can take a spiritual bath. I'm trying to think of, before I move on, anything else for the house. So I talked about setting the home. I talked about the coins, the salt, and everything. I'm doing all of this off the top of my head, y'all. So I want to make sure I didn't have time to do no notes. So I want to just make sure I have everything. I talked about setting the home. I talked about the smoke bowl, the floor wash, all that stuff. Now, as far as cleansing the physical self, everything I just named for the smoke bowl, you can also add those things to a spiritual bath as well. Okay. But for me, if I'm doing a spiritual bath, I would also do a lot of things centered in love energy. So a lot of things centered in like honey, some honey, some calendula, some cinnamon, maybe a little sprinkle of allspice in there as well, again for that prosperity energy. Also, if you have like some rose petals, it can be dried rose petals. If you have that, that would be good. Some orange peels, some lemon peels, or fresh lemon if you have it. Even apples. Apples is also centered in abundance and love energy. Okay. So if you have some apples, you can add that. In my mind, I was like, you're gonna be sitting up in there like a juice. Juice yourself down, okay? Juice yourself down. But you really want to take a sweet bath. Put some coconut milk in there. The coconut milk is for the ori, right? Obatala energy, obatala to keep up the ori. So have some coconut milk in there for that purification, that divine intuition, that ori connection. That would be good. You can do an egg cleansing. I see somebody asked about an egg cleanse. You can do an egg cleanse if you want to, if that's what you desire to do today. But I'm gonna be honest, for me, an egg cleanse is a bit heavy. I advise today keeping it light, keeping it light. That's what the goal. Moving into the new year, New Year's Eve, New Year's Day is all about keeping it light. Shout out to Badu, pack light, okay? Pack light, pack light. I might listen to that while I'm in the shower. But yes, like you want to keep it centered and packing light, family. Okay. So just try to be easy. Don't try to do too much. And even if you can't do all of this today, just do what you can, right? I'm just going off top of my head, naming some things, some good rituals for you, and just pick and choose what fits you and what feels well for you. Okay, so that's the spiritual bath. Now, I also advise, if you can, washing your hair. Babies, before I move to washing your hair, babies, blueberries. Blueberries is good for protection for babies. Okay, so if you can do a blueberry cleanse, if you have some blueberries, that'll be good for babies. Blackberries as well. Also, black walnut as well. Okay, and that's good for everybody, but especially young children. Blueberries and black walnut. Okay, for protection and cleansing in young children. Now, I advise to wash your hair if you can. Do a rosemary rinse, a rosemary and peppermint rinse for your hair. So you can do coconut water, rosemary and peppermint. You let that simmer on the stove, let it cool down, and then wash your hair with that. So you could use rosemary oil, a peppermint oil, and coconut water and cleanse your head, and as well as some okra too. If you got some okra, add some okra to it. If you don't have okra, add some aloe vera to it. But again, bring that to like a steam on the stove, like a little light boil, let it cool down, and then cleanse your scalp with it. And again, that's just to cleanse off the ori, to cleanse your crown, and just to help open you up to that divine intuition. Okay. Eucalyptus too. If you don't have peppermint, use eucalyptus. Eucalyptus is also good. Okay. So do you a good cleansing, a good head cleansing, head wash. Okay. So we talked about setting the home, the head cleansing. What else? Food. How could I forget the food? Okay. That's another thing I was doing this morning, cooking down, honey. Okay. Your greens, your black eyed peas, your cornbread, your fish, and or your salt pork, whatever you prefer. Okay. But having these foods centered in abundance and prosperity. Now, I was gonna say, I don't care where you're from. I feel like most black folks, most African Americans, y'all know that New Year's Eve dinner. Okay, some of this you may be like, oh, my people, they don't do that, or my people, but I feel like most black folks that I know of, that New Year's Eve dinner of the greens, the black eyed peas, the cornbread, had to be honey butter cornbread too, because that honey for prosperity, the cornbread, and either fish or salt pork or both. Okay, some people put the salt pork in the greens or the black eyed peas. Now, the thing about it is, it was all about luck and prosperity, right? So the collard greens, our ancestors would use what represented luck for them. We have to remember that as African Americans, a lot of our ancestors were enslaved, and during slavery, Of course, they didn't necessarily all have money to be able to use to represent prosperity. Money was used for certain rituals, and we'll get there. But most often, they would get paid in extra food, extra pork, right? So we talked about this when we was watching Underground with the wellness community. Remember Underground when he had did well, and they gave him like an extra piece of pork, extra pork shoulder, and the family celebrated and cooked the pork, right? Like that's often why, and we talk about the term like high on the hog, right? Where a lot of the families who were abundant would be blessed with a lot of what the slaves were allowed to have, which would be most oftentimes extra pieces of pork, right? Having the greens, right? The collard greens, of course, the collard greens represented prosperity. The dark leafy greens was very healthy, very abundant, but also they were very, at that time, considered tough to cook because they had to be cleaned so well and cooked down for so long in order to be made tender. So if you could cook collard greens, you were seen as somebody who could really, really cook down, right? So the pork represented prosperity, the greens represented luck and prosperity, and those black eyed peas represented protection as well as luck. The black eyed peas and the symbolism, even the name of the black eyed pea, right? The symbolism was the eye of protection, connecting it back to the eye of Horus, right? So that all seeing eye, that eye of intuition, that eye of protection, that eye of the divine, right? That was seen as a means of protecting your prosperity and protecting your luck, right? So even in my family, and they used to debate about this, right? They used to debate about which the eyes on the stove, like which eye on the stove does the greens go on and the black eyed peas go on. For us, it was the greens on the right, the black eyed peas on the left, right? So the left hand was for protection, the left hand side would be for protection, and the right hand side would be for the abundance and the prosperity. So it was the black eyed peas on the left and the greens on the right. And when the clock struck 12, you had to have those black eyed peas and those greens cooked on the stove, and it was a setup. The black eyed peas on the left, the greens on the right, the fish in the front or in the front middle, and the cornbread in the center of it all. The honey butter cornbread represented prosperity as well. Okay, the fish was important because the fish represented releasing, connected. As I'm saying it, it almost reminds me of that Pisces energy, right? The Pisces, one of the Pisces symbolism is two fish, one swimming upstream, one swimming down, right? Which connected that divine human aspect of the yin and the yang and the balance, right? So it represented prosperity as well as balance, being able to release and receive. So that fish was also important for me. I this morning I had my greens going, I had my black eyed peas going, I did my catfish. Okay, so my catfish is there, and I got my honey butter cornbread, and all of that will be on the stove. Okay, so and again, do what you have, do what you have. So you don't have to you said what? You do you, and don't you, right. Everybody should do what's best for them. But use what you have. Use what you have. Don't feel take the pressure to like, okay, let me run out and go get some black eyed peas, let me run out and go get some greens, let me do. Everybody has to do what's best for them, and use what you got. So if you only have, so I know somebody said black beans, if you only have black beans is fine, right? Use your black beans. If you don't have anything, it's okay. Another thing we used to do, and it's so funny because I literally, one of my my favorite memories talking about this ritual is, y'all remember Y2K, right? When it was the year 2000, and I remember the whole family, everybody was nervous that it was going to be the end of the world, and the whole family got together, and we was in a hotel room. The whole family was in a hotel room, and I remember the clock was about to strike 12. We was doing the countdown, watching the ball drop on TV, and my aunt was like, "Wait!" And she went to her purse and she grabbed dollars, and she was like, "We got to get the kids $1," because it was believed that you could not bring in the new year without having money in your hand and money in your pocket. If you was a woman, you had to have money in your purse. Okay. So something else that I like to do to this day is make sure that I have at least $1 in all my purses. Some type of coins, some type of dollar bills, something, at least $1 in all my purses. So if you don't have your food, if you don't have any of that, try to get some pennies up, try to get some coins up, try something. Okay, if you feel called to do something for prosperity, put you a coin in each purse. Okay, put a coin in each purse, put something, okay, $1 in each purse, in each pocket, whatever. Even if you only could afford to put it in your favorite purse or your favorite pocket, do something and make sure when that clock strikes 12, you have money in your hand. Okay, have some type of money in your hand. Now, and again, as some people, they if you grew up very Christian, my family was religiously diverse for the most part. So my family wasn't big Bible thumpers, okay? But some people are very big on, like, saying a prayer, saying a psalm, saying something. You can feel free to do that as well, okay? And yes, Deja, it's all about the intention. And that's what we always have to remember. It's always about the intention. And that's why, every year when I do these videos, I always talk about the why, right? We got to talk about the why behind why we do things. It's not just about, the greens and the black eyed peas and stuff because it's tradition. There's intention and there's historical representation of all of this. Y'all watch High on the Hog on Netflix, right? They talk, he goes into detail about like various foods and things like that our ancestors ate. And again, we talk about celebrating the Gregorian 2024, the Gregorian New Year. We're talking about an ancestral tradition, right? So celebrating from an ancestral lens. Okay, so just be mindful of that. All right. So we talked about cleaning the house. We talked about the head wash. We talked about setting the home. We talked about the food. What else? What else? Is there anything else? The money, having the money in your purses, pocketbook. Oh, other traditions that I've been seeing other people talk about that kind of got popular last year is more of the Latino traditions, right? And the more of the Latino traditions would be like the 12 grapes under the table, the walking around the block with the suitcases and things like that, right? So the 12 grapes under the table, and it was specifically about centered in women, right? The women getting under the table and eating 12 grapes, right? So that is more of a Latino tradition. And that tradition comes from being, it's really centered in love, right? Like attracting love, manifesting a relationship and things like that, right? Also the running around the block with the suitcases, right? So you take a suitcase and you walk around your block or run around your block with the suitcase if you want a year of travel, right? Those are not necessarily practices that I practice personally for me, but I think that they're beautiful. I think that they're dope. And if that's something that you want to do, you practice it. Another tradition that I have kind of let go of that is ancestral, but I don't subscribe to that practice anymore. And this comes from, as far as I'm aware of, more of an African American side. My family was, and I think many families, very patriarchal, right? So the idea that the first person to walk through your house on New Year's Day needs to be a man, and that man has to have money in his pocket. Okay, that was that idea. Has to be a man, and that man has to have money in his pocket. Okay, rolling a cabbage from the back door to the front door for prosperity. That's another one that I don't necessarily do anymore, but rolling a cabbage, it had to be a whole cabbage head, rolling a cabbage from the back door to the front door for prosperity. The man with the money in the pocket, if you want to be blessed, you want to be protected, it had to be a man so that your house could be protected for that year. And he had to have money in his pocket so you don't be broke. Okay. So all of those was more New Year's Day traditions that had to be done. Okay. So it's again, for me, I don't necessarily subscribe to that, but to each their own, their own. Okay. I think I touched on everything. Am I missing anything, y'all? Am I missing anything? I'm checking in the chat. Yeah, you did away with that one too. The man with the money. Yes, yes, yes. And hey, I ain't gonna say that. Some things I got to keep to myself. Um, I'm not gonna say that. Okay, some things I got to keep to myself. All right. I think I touched on everything. Okay. Okay. But yes, y'all, that's it. Now let me get into the numerology. All right. So the divine numerology of 2024, our year of 8. Our year of 8, I'm so excited for, because 8 is our number of infinity, our number of abundance. It is our number of build. and destroy. To build what you desire, to build wellness, to build good, to build positivity, and to destroy, release, and let go of anything that's not centered in wellness, peace, prosperity, anything that's blocking you, right? 8 is the number of build and destroy, abundance, the infinity symbol, all that good stuff, right? So 2024 being our year of 8, I'm very excited for, because I'm looking heavily into that building aspect. I already know what my theme of 2024 is going to be, and I'll share that soon. And speaking of, I advise heavily that y'all get a theme of the year. I advise that everybody does a theme of the year. Everybody. And for me, as I said, I celebrate multiple New Years. I celebrate the Gregorian New Year, the Lunar New Year. I celebrate my birthday as my personal New Year. And I have themes for my New Year celebration. And the themes are usually all like they're all in alignment, right? But I do candle manifestation, and that's a new year ritual that I enjoy doing for myself. For my candle manifestation, I like to write my theme of the year. Simple, plain. Write my theme of the year. I put it under a candle. Okay. Now, it could be any candle that you desire. For me, I prefer to use a white candle. Depending on what I'm doing, sometimes I may use something else, but I prefer to use a white candle. I put it under the candle. Around that candle, I'll put various coins. I'll put certain herbs. All the herbs are scented in abundance and blessings. So it'll be things like cinnamon sticks. I may do some rosemary. I may do just different herbs, right? Scented in abundance, some allspice and things like that, right? Put those all around the candle. I light the candle. In front of the candle, I'll put a little bit of, and then I do this at midnight. I'll put a little bit of the greens, the black eyed peas, the fish, my New Year's Eve dinner, my New Year dinner. I'll put a little bit of that around the candle, or in front of the candle rather. And I let it be. I say my prayers. I do my smudging and do my thing over it, my thing over it. And I ring my bell, invite the ancestors to come in, say another prayer, and that is my candle manifestation for the new year. And let me tell y'all something, baby. It works. It works. Okay, it be working and working and working and working. Okay, so I'm sharing that with y'all. It's something that I heavily, heavily, heavily enjoy doing. That I love, and it feels well for me. And all of this, y'all, everything I'm sharing with y'all it feels well for me. With the wellness community, we've been watching American Gods, right? And one of the themes around American Gods is the power of belief, right? In season 1, Wednesday is trying to convince Shadow, or not even convince him, but help him believe in gods, right? Help him believe in the possibility of there being a God and what gods can do, right? And I truly aligned with that. The power of belief, understanding that when you believe you put energy towards it, and where your attention and energy goes, the energy will grow. So everything that I'm talking about, and the reason I keep saying, you have to do do what feels well for you, do what feels well for you, because it's really about doing what you believe in, doing what feels right for you. If for you want to sit with your rosary and your Bible, and you want to say a prayer, and that's it, and that's how you want to bring your new year in, perfect. If you feel like, okay, well, I want to meditate, and that's how I want to bring my new year in, perfect. If you feel like, look, I don't want to do none of this, I kind of just want to sleep and that's just what feel good, perfect. Do whatever feels well for you, whatever practice feels good for you. Most of my New Year's, I do pretty much the same thing, but even like with the food, right? Like one year, I have an abundance stew recipe. I shared it with the wellness community a while ago, when I talked about my favorite abundance rituals. And in my abundance stew recipe, I put things like callaloo. I put pumpkin in there. Pumpkin represents abundance, so I put callaloo. I put pumpkin. I put a lot of curry in there and different things like that. Those spices, mustard seed, different spices that represent abundance. The cayenne pepper to be a catalyst and speed it up. So I do basically like a spicy vegan pumpkin stew. And I really love that. And that has worked for me anytime I'm feeling the desire to manifest abundance. One year for New Year's, instead of doing the black eyed peas and all of that as separate, I did that. I made my abundance stew, and I put the black eyed peas in there with the callaloo. I don't think I used collard greens that year. I think I used kale. I want to say I used kale and kale callaloo, and I want to say I also may have put some okra in there as well. But yeah, I just made a stew, right? So do whatever feels well for you. You know, you don't have to be as ritualistic, but again, it's just really about the intention. What feels well for you? What are your intentions when you're doing all of this? Okay. So happy New Year, family. I will see y'all. A happy New Year's Eve, rather. I will see y'all in the New Year wellness community. We will meet tonight. I'm thinking around 7. Okay, because I want us to have a New Year Eve check-in. Okay, a New Year Eve check-in and do our last and final family meeting for 2023. Oh my God, can you believe it? Can you believe it? Huh? Okay, I'm just like, oh my God, oh my God, it's wild. But everybody else, I love y'all. Thank y'all so much for watching. I pray that again, whatever feels right and feels well for you, you do it. I pray that your year, as you reflect on 2023, you're able to extract all of the lessons that have served your wellness and carry those forward with you into the new year. I pray that they are able to manifest abundantly. I pray that you are able to manifest abundance beyond your deepest desires and imagination. I pray that you are able to release and leave behind anything that does not serve and align with your wellness. I pray that your spirit of discernment elevates and increases, and your intuition elevates and increases. I pray that you connect to your Ori, you trust yourself, you know yourself, you feel your highest vibration at all times. I pray that you are well. Okay. Happy New Year's Eve. And I will see y'all in our year of 8, honey, 2024. I will see y'all. Much love, much peace, y'all. Peace.